Hello friends, this is Ganesh and video number 18 on ABAP. In this video, I'm going to explain some additions of internal table. As I mentioned, if you take any existing program or any new program in ABAP, 60 to 70% of code is going to be with internal table. So you will have a lot of additions, a lot of small options are available in internal table. So as a technical consultant, you should be aware of that. So you might receive some more videos on internal table concept itself. Okay. So let me get into the slide. So today I'm going to cover these areas in an internal table. How to communicate between internal tables. In a program, you might have more than one internal table. So how to communicate it? If the structures of the internal tables are same or it might be different, if that is a scenario, how to communicate effectively between the internal tables. That is very important. And in that, the major part is going to be for all entries. Is nothing but normally we take a data from a database table, depends on the user input from the input screen or directly from based on the business requirement. So now we are going to take the data from the database table, depends on the internal table record or internal table content. Okay, so I have one internal table, based on that record I need to get the data from my database table. So for that kind of scenarios we are going to use for all entries concept. And how to move the data or copy the data between body of an internal table. So work area between header line is very simple because it hold only one record at a time. So mostly communication means it's going to represent the body of an internal table only. And I'm going to create a work area from body of an internal table. So far we have created a work area based on the structure, but we have an option. We can create an work area based on a body of an internal table. And data handling, like how to sort the table, how to delete the information from your database table, and what are the clear statements we have to clear the data from your body of an internal table, either work area or body of an internal table. Most of the code is relevant to the body of an internal table only. Now let's take the for all interest concept. So I have a table, VBAK database table, and I retrieve the data from this VBAK and put it in my internal table. And second step, based on the header information, I need an item. Okay, that item is available in VBAP database table. So my input for VBAP is the data which is available in my IT_S header. It's a body of an internal table. Okay, so that is my input for VBAP. And for example, I have 100 records. Okay, I have 100 records which I retrieved based on the business requirement. It's not a wide open, some based on input screen, whatever it is. I have 100 records now in this internal table, and I'm going to pass that 100 records to VBAP and collected the items from VBAP database table and keep it in another internal table called IT_S item. Again, it's a body of an internal table. So now it might have 100 or more than 100 because every sales order has its own item. Some sales order can have more than one item, so you maybe more than 100 records also retrieved from VBAP and keep it in IT_S item body of an internal table. And now I'm going to pass the data from this internal table to Mara table and get the material information. So like this. So input for Mara is IT_S item records, and based on that I'm going to get the material information. So this is the idea of for all entries. For all entries is nothing but I'm going to pass the input to the database table from my internal table. So based on my internal table content, the data fetch should happen. So that is the idea of for all entries. So ABAP is a 4th generation language. It's mostly pure like a English. Okay. So for all entries, like get all the data for all entries of this internal table, get the information from VBAP. And for all entries of this item information, get the information from Mara table. So that is the idea of for all entries. And there are some properties to be followed, especially for all entries. So we have to see whether either initial or empty check. That is very important. Probably in the initial stage there might be a mistake. We are not checking the initial or empty check on internal table. So what will happen is, for example, I'm trying to get the header based on the user input. In some scenarios there is no data. from VBAK based on the business user input. So what happens? My internal table is empty. Now, without further checking whether your internal table is empty, you are passing the informations to VBAP and try to find the data from VBAP table. What happens if the internal table is empty? In the for all interest concept, it consider all the records to be fetched from VBAP table. So it's very important, whenever you are using for all interest concept, make sure your input internal table should be, or your source internal table should be, have at least one record. If it is empty, that's it, it will go and take all the records from VBAP table. In your test environment, in your development system, that doesn't matter. But the problem is, once the same code is moved to quality or production having it's a more data, huge data available. So what happens? Trying to get all the records from VBAP table, that's it, your report is going keep on running. Sometimes it will go to dump because of the time exceed limit. Okay, the same thing for item also. If it is empty, it will take all the data from one table. So initial check is very important for all entries. Okay, and mostly initial check is for your source internal table, and sort the data from the source internal table. So that is also one important thing. You have to sort it, okay, based on what condition you are taking the value, that particular field to be sorted. For example, here based on the Veblen, I'm going to take the data from VBAP table. So you have to sort your source internal table based on your sales order number. Okay, and delete duplicate values. So that is also very important. In some cases, maybe not this scenario, because it's sales order is always unique from the header table. Suppose some scenarios you might have more than one material or more than one items or sales order is available. If that is the case, please try to delete the duplicate values. It's like you're not giving additional work to the system, okay, to the next select statement. So better delete some duplicate values if it is available in the source internal table. And recommended to keep all the key fields in select as well as in where condition. I will give an example for why. And I'm saying it's recommended because it won't give any syntax error. If you're not add any all the key fields in your select or where condition, it won't give any syntax error, but it might give some data which is not relevant or which is not you expected of your business requirement. Okay, or sometimes you're expecting 10 rows but it gives only one row from the database table. So you're not aware why it's giving only one row, not more than one. Okay, not all the 10 rows. So recommended is, if you use for all entries, please use all the key fields in your select as well as in your where condition. Okay, so we have at some more other slides. Let me explain for all entries in the system and we'll see how it reflects in your debugging or in your output. Then we'll go to the next one. So what is the next? Okay, it's a move data only. Okay, let me get into the system. This is my S4HANA system. So first I will write the code to get the sales order details. So as I mentioned, we'll learn the new syntax as well. So no need to wait for a time to learn a new syntax for the ABAP. We'll go both options. In some cases we go with the normal syntax, old syntax, and some cases we go with the new syntax. So first step, we need to set very clearly, we want to say very clearly from which table you want the data. And the second line, you need to say what are the fields you need. So I need Veblen, control space bar, you will get VB type, and I need some date. Okay, and this is a wide open call because I have very few details in this training system. So I'm not adding any where condition over here. Sales header. Okay, I have only a few hundreds of data. I want some enough data. So this is step one. I got the information of the header information. So on the flow, I declared the body of an internal table. Now, this internal table is going to be the input for my next step. So input data. So the next step is select from VBAP fields. I want Veblen, Osner, and material. Okay. Select from VBAP fields. Okay, these three. And here I'm going to introduce the keyword called for all entries in. Okay, because the second select is going to be work based on the data of this internal table, body of an internal table. So for all entries in internal table, and the where condition is based on the sales order document number. So here again is equal to body and then the field name. So here this is the first time we are introducing body of an internal table in the where condition. Normally we used a header or work area or a variable. Now the first time we are using the body of an internal table in the where condition because of this for all entries keyword. Okay, where this, and finally I need to keep this in a internal table. So on the flow I'm declaring that internal table as well, items. Okay, and the third one I'm going to use Mara table, and for that this is the input for the Mara table. So here I'm going to use the old syntax. So here I'm use matnr and I need mtart then ntgw from Mara into table. So you can use the for all entries anywhere. There is no sequence in the old syntax. IT matr materials. Okay. For all entries in IT sales order items where matnr equals IT sales order items matnr. Okay, so this is a new syntax and we need to mention the at symbol escape character because we have to mention very clearly whatever variable or internal table or work area, whatever it is, this is not relevant for database layer. This is not a field name, this is not a table name, this is not a view name. So that is the meaning of at symbol. So don't consider this while executing the select query in your database layer. So wherever you mentioned the internal table name, make sure you have the at symbol before that, otherwise you'll get a syntax error. So let me, okay, done it. Try header is unknown. What is the name I give? Okay, it's a header, it's not a header, it's a sales header. And yeah, done. One basic step I must did, I didn't check whether the source internal table has any data or not. Empty initial check is very important. Okay, so let me see what happened. That is not a, it not giving any syntax error. It will keep on running the data. For example, let me show you in the debugging mode. What will happen if the first internal table, the source internal table, is empty? Okay. Let me do one thing. Okay, activate it. I will delete the data in the debugging level, then I'll show you what is happening. Execute. You can have any session or external, it doesn't make any difference in the program if you execute directly. So F5, it has 313 records. Okay, so if it is a record, then your program is good, you are safe, it won't go to dump, it won't take much time, it won't take all the data from your database table. If it is empty, then issue comes. We'll see how it is goes. Now items are empty, so based on this 313 record, this select query will execute and it will take the data from ABAP. So now it's 333 because one sales order header has maybe more than one item. So that is the reason it might have more records compared to header. Always item has a more record compared to header. And S item also has a data, so we are good enough. Even if it is not checking the material, we are good. Okay, it's fully come out. Let me have a statical breakpoint. So now let's see if the data is empty. If the source internal table data is empty while using a for all entries. Execute F5. So it has almost 313 records. Let me delete it. Go here, service tool, delete whole table. So 1 to 313 records I want to delete. It's 0. Now your header information means source internal table data is count as 0. Now I'm going to execute for all entries for item. Initially previously it took 333 records. Let's see how much it's now. It's 335 records. Okay, this is like a training system, so we have very less data, and you can see this item should work based on the header information. If it is 0, it should be 0, but for all entries won't work in that fashion. So if the for all entries source internal table as empty, it take all the data from your database table. Okay, so make sure you have to use either size of bars equal to 0, or if condition, make sure your source data has any data or content before executing the for all entries. So that is a very basic check you have to do. So I can say yes, header is not initial, then only you can do this. Okay, and another one, if yes, item is not initial, then do this. And Control F3, activate it and execute it. Now, if it has a data, let me delete it again. Okay, so now this check won't allow you to get into the second select statement. F5, it not reached. So now if you see items also 0, then it won't execute unnecessarily. Okay, so that's why the initial check is very important before using for all entries concept. So here you can use this initial not initial statement, or you can say like this also, size sub bars equal to 0. So size sub bars is nothing but the above statement executed successfully or not. Okay, if it doesn't have anything, automatically it won't get any information over here. For example, let me have a concept where, okay, so there's a new syntax, so where should be in the third line, where VBLN is equal to, hopefully no data with this sales order. So if size of bar C equal to 0, activate it, execute, F5. So size of bar C is 4, so you can double click, it shows here. Then it won't get into that VBAP, means second select statement where it depends on your source internal table data. So this way also you are able to do it, either size of bar C or not initial keyword. So next one I'm going to say, okay, before that, if you, I already mentioned the sort table, right? So here the sort is not required because by default it's getting the data from the database table, and the sales order number is unique and that is already sorted in the database table. So it's sorted based on your sales order number. So it's not required, but if it is needed, you have to mention sort internal table by default it's ascending and by VBELN. Okay, so that is the way you have to mention the sort if it is required. Other than it's not one, you don't worry about it. Toward it, and here you can say sort is item by Matner. And the first scenario, sales order number is unique and it's a header table, so you won't find any duplicates on your sales order number. But in items, there may be a chance same material can be used in other sales order as well. So there is a chance of repeating the same material in your internal table. So what you can do is just remove the duplicates, delete adjacent duplicates from the table S items, comparing MATNR. Okay, so what happens if there is any duplicate material, because we are going to take that value from Mara table and the for all entries we are going to use Matner. So unnecessarily while giving additional work to the system, so delete the duplicates and get the details only for the unique data. So that's why I'm using delete adjacent duplicates. It's nothing but it removed the duplicate data because I already sorted the internal table based on the material. So the internal table is sorted based on the material number. If you use delete adjacent duplicate, it remove all the record which has the same material number in the second and third rows. It automatically delete the adjacent duplicates. Okay, so maybe in a 2 or 3 slides, after 2 or 3 slides, I have the syntax for adjacent duplicate, how it works. I'll show you over there as well. Let's see how it behaves in the debugging mode. Execute it. Okay, no, I think now I'm not getting any data because of this var condition. Let me comment it. Execute. So fi is header 313 and item I'm having 333. So if I go with sort, yeah, it's actually sorted and you can find some duplicate values. See, 15 is going to be 5 times. So now I'm going to delete this information. Adjacent duplicate means it's keep the first record, and after that whatever the same material comes, it remove the data from your internal table. So it's 333. If I use delete adjacent, now I have only 65 records. See, that is the reason we used to say remove the duplicates before using for all entries. So unnecessarily we are passing 300 and data with the same duplicate record and ask the system to get the information. So use delete adjacent duplicate and let's see how many data is coming over here. So total 40 records it comes. So one beauty over here is, even though if you're not using delete adjacent duplicates, you're passing all the 333 records to get the information, it takes only the unique data from your Mara table. Okay, but here what you're doing is according to the performance, because small things also matters if you go with the performance measure. So in that case, you can use the delete adjacent duplicates. You're passing very less information, the performance might increase. I'll show you, I'll commenting the delete adjacent duplicate. So it got 40 records, right? I'm commented the delete adjacent duplicates. I'm passing all 300 data to Mara table to get the informations. So while if you see, I'm having 333, and if I execute, it gives 40. So output is same, but the performance wise, if you give very less data, the execution time is increasing in the select statement. Okay, so this is about for all entries and why we use sort, why we use delete adjacent duplicates, and next we are going to see about include all the key fields in the select and var condition. So for this scenario, I'm going to use a different table because I need some more data to get an example. So I'm going to use MKPF and MSEG table. Okay. So what I'm going to do is, let's start with MKPF. Select new syntax from MKPF fields BLNR and then physical year into, okay, I need a var condition because I'll go with a very specific detail, MBLNR. So I already figured out what is the number for material document. So this one has more items. So if this is MSEG table, if you execute, okay, 1 second, let me take out this. So it has at least 5 items. So the same material document has 5 different items for the same physical year. So let's go and take this value from MKPF table. Okay, into table on the flow, I'm declaring the internal table. Okay. So next, using size bar C, I'm going to write the for all entries. select from MSEG fields MBLNR and MJAHR where, before where I need to use for all entries in, I need a @ symbol, escape character, mkpf, where MBLNR is equal to the source internal table hyphen field name. Okay. And I need to use the field MJAHR physical year as well at itmkpf MJAHR. Okay. So finally I need to keep it in my internal table into table on the flow data IT MSEG. That's it. If condition, I closed it. Okay. Afterward it. So expectation is this MSEG should get all the data from MSEG table, right? Execute. And one more execute because I have another breakpoint. Yes. So this mkpf has how many data? It has one data because it's a header. So it has MBLNR and then physical year as well. And I'm going to execute this for MSEG. That is also success. So suppose is 0. And MSEG also has only one because I didn't mention all the key fields in my select, or at least I have to mention all the key fields in my where condition. I didn't mention both. So that is the reason you'll get only one record. This is very rare scenario and sometimes you might face this issue. You are seeing some database table has 5 records, but your for all entry select is taking not all the 5, it takes only one or some irrelevant count. Okay, so make sure at least in the select you added all the key fields. Sometimes you are not able to find the data for the where condition. So to pass the information from the header, it's not available over there. So that, because for example, if you take MKPF doesn't have the item material number in MKPF. So I'm not able to use it in where condition. So at least I need to use that particular field in my select statement. For example, if you go to MSEG table, so you'll get 3 key fields: document, material year, and item and material document. This item and material document is not available in MKPF table. So what I can do is I'm going to use ZE what is the field LIE, let me check. MSEG, what was item, go back. Yeah, ZEILE, ZEILE. Okay, save it and activate it. Execute now. F6. Okay, now also MKPF has one, and here I didn't do any sort and duplicates because it already sorted by default. There is no duplicate. I'm getting only one. I written a code to write only one data from the MKPF table. That's why I didn't do delete. If it is required to then do it, otherwise don't do it. So now MSEG has all the 5 data. Okay, so make sure if you're using for all entries, keep all the key fields in the select. If you have a chance to get all the key fields to keep it in the where condition, well and good. If not, at least in the select you can do it. So this is about for all entries. So it's very simple. Just make sure you are checking the initial for the for all entries before using it in any select statement. and all the key fields, sorting your internal table, source internal table, delete the duplicates. So these are the properties of for all entries. So just play around, let me know if you need any help on for all entries. So the next one is, let me get into the slide. How to move the data. What are the options we can move the data? So here, suppose I have 200 records from VBAK and I just kept it in my initial internal table. Then I want to move this for another internal table for some data manipulation. Depends on the requirement. We need to move the data to a temporary internal table and do the data manipulation. So the first step is like move. Using an assignment operator, you can move the data between two body of an internal table, okay, without any conditions. One thing you have to remember once you use an assignment operator equal symbol is, if your target system has any existing record, it gets overwrite. Once you move all the 200 records, some example, if you have 10 records, once you move all the 200 with the help of equal operator, it just delete all the 10 records. It just overwrite the whatever information, whatever records you are passing from this source internal table. So you have to make sure. Another one is append. Suppose I want the existing also to be keep in my internal table. I want this to be appended. So you have to use a syntax called append lines of. Okay. So that is the syntax. This will keep your existing internal table content as well as the new one. Another one is corresponding. This is also, I'm talking about body to body, body of an internal table to body of an internal table. So the field is based on the data. So meaning it has three fields, it has only two fields, and what are the fields are common between these internal table? Only those record is getting moved between these two internal table. Okay, so that's why I'm saying field based information. So I have 10 fields in my source and I have 8 fields or 20 fields in my target. It moves only whatever name is matching. Make sure if the names or the field names are same, even if it is any spelling mistake, it won't move that particular data to a particular field. Okay, so these are the options you can move the data between two different or two same internal tables. Let's see one by one. So let's begin with the basic move. So I'm going to use the assignment operator. Okay, so here both ways, either you have to declare it already or you need to declare on the flow. Okay, I'll show you both. So on the flow, if you want to declare, you can say data it mseg temp equal it underscore mseg. So what happens? It moves the content data, whatever it is in this information in this table, it moves that particular data to it mseg underscore temp along with the declaration. This is the on the flow declaration. This is also body of an internal table. Okay, other way, if you want to declare it already, so you can go ahead with like this: data internal table mseg, I can say 2, okay, like itmseg. So this is the other way of declaration. Okay, I want the same thing, right? Here there is no declaration, no structure is defined. If there is a structure, you can say type table of. Here I have a body of an internal table, so I want to make use of that. So I'm going to use this keyword called like. So like is nothing but it copy the technical aspects of your target. So you're targeting IT MSEG, it copies the technical aspect of this object. This object is nothing but body of an internal table. The same way it creates another one. Okay, so this is the other way as well. MSEG underscore 2 equal to IT MSEG. Let's see how it's behave in debugging mode. Keep the breakpoint, execute. Full execution, one more execution. Yes, so ID MSEG has 5 records. So ID MSEG temp is 0 now. Okay, and IT MSG2 is also 0. Okay, so this is on the flow declaration. This is a normal way of declaration. Okay, and if we press F5, ID temp has 5 records. If we press F5, ID MSG2 also has 5 records. So there is no difference. Both are same. The way it got declared is different. itmseg underscore 2 also same. So now what happens if I use the equal symbol? Okay, my expectation is, okay, after this mseg temp equal to itmseg. So once again I'm doing it. So in this it got 5 records. My expectation is it should be 10. But if you use equal operator, assignment operator, it overrides the existing data. So let's see. Activate and execute it. Full execution because I have a breakpoint. So it temp, it mseg is 5. Now temp has 5 and 56th line if I execute it should be 10 expectation, but still it's 5 because it override the existing one. Okay. So now what I can do is, if you want to add along, means append, if you want to add along with the existing line, so you can say append lines of itmseg to itmseg temp. So let me comment this. Let's see now how many datas are available in itmseg temp internal table. Execute. So here itmseg is 5, itmseg temp is 5. If I use append lines of, now itmseg temp has 10 records. So this is nothing but append, the same data only, but this is the way you have to append your internal table from body to body. From work area to body, we are using append so far. Now this is append lines of body to body. If I want to use append, this is the syntax. Okay. So the next one is corresponding. So when the corresponding requires, for example, suppose I am creating a structure for you, begin of structure, mseg. So it has only 2 fields. Okay, mblnr, type mblnr, and then only the mgah. So physical year. Okay, and what else? So maybe I can have some other field. Okay, I need material and works. Okay, I'm having matnr, type matnr, and then I can have works over here. So I want to show you the sequence doesn't matter, so that's why I'm adding the works in between. Okay, so the names of the field should be same, then only the corresponding will work, otherwise it won't. So here I'm going to declare an internal table, like body of an internal table. So corresponding mseg, type table of stu mseg. So now what I'm going to do is type table of stu mseg. So now I'm going to use corresponding option here. Move corresponding itmseg to it corresponding mseg. Okay, we'll see how it behaves. Activate it and execute it. So I need a breakpoint over here. So keep a breakpoint. Execute. I don't want this breakpoints the next time, so I'm just removing it. Yeah. So here itmseg has 5 records and another internal table has 0 records currently, and it has 3 fields and it has 4 fields. So if you open it, itmseg has mblnr, physical year, and item of material document number, and this it corresponding mseg has material document number, plant, and then physical year, and then material. So if I press F5, let me get into this. Press F5, move corresponding. So it fills only the fields where it matches between source and target. So that is the use of move corresponding. Make sure the field names are same. if you use move corresponding. If it is any spelling mistake, it won't copy. For example, if I change this one image in like this, okay. F8, I don't have breakpoint in the correct place. Let me have it one. Okay, here it is. F8, MSEG, MS corresponding. Just get into this, and now I'm going to press F5. So it's copied only MBLNR. This is by default. This numeric by default is getting zeros. It's not copied the MAGAHR because there is a spelling mistake. Okay. So make sure everything is fine if you use before if you use move corresponding. And the next one is sorting. Okay. So this is my database table and I have 200 records. I'm going to sort it. Sort is also applicable for body of an internal table because it needs more data to sort. So the syntax is sort body of an internal table. You can use a keyword called ascending or descending. By default it's ascending. If you're not mentioning anything, by default it's ascending the internal body of an internal table by field 1. Or if you want more than one field, separated by comma, field 1 comma field 2. So this is a syntax, basic syntax to sort your body of an internal table. Another way of syntax is sort body of an internal table. I want to do ascending by field 1, descending by field 2. Yeah, that also you can do. Depends on the requirement. We can make use of the ascending and descending for the different fields. Another one is sort by text. So this is especially for character based fields, and some values are lowercase, some values are uppercase. So by default, what happens if you're not mentioning as text, sort will take the capital letters like uppercase values first, sorted, then lowercase values, then sorted, especially for the camel case I'm talking about. Okay. So if you want to avoid that, you can mention an option called as text. So then it will sort properly. Okay. I will show these two in the system. Let me continue the slide, then we'll go to the system. And then next is delete the information. So how to delete the data from body of an internal table? So we have 4 different keywords. The first keyword is clear. So the clear is the keyword which can be used to clear the information from a variable, or it can be used in a work area or body of an internal table. So all these 3 clear will take care. Okay. So I think a few videos also I have explained about clear the particular field in a work area, right? So clear is used in many places. And refresh, actually I strike it out because refresh is absolute keyword. Please don't use it because clear is also taking care of what refresh does. So refresh is going to clear only the body of an internal table, clear the data from body of an internal table. That will take care by clear. So whenever you have an option to clear the internal table, please don't use refresh. Okay. And then free. So what happens here also, it frees the data from body of an internal table and it frees the memory space of your internal table as well. So this will give some advantage. It's like you have very big line of programming, and in 100th line the scope of the internal tables gets end. You can use a free. It will give a performance improvement if you use a free. So free, it clears the memory of your internal table as well. So make sure you are not using your internal table after the free statement, then only you can use free. Normally we use at the end of the report or at the end of the scope of the body of an internal table. And another one is delete. This delete also will clear the data from the body of an internal table, but with a var condition. So all these like clear, refresh or free, you won't clear the data based on the condition, but delete, yes. By delete, you are able to do with conditions. Okay. And another one, this one we have seen in for all entries, delete duplicates. So if you want to delete the duplicates, use delete adjacent duplicates of body of an internal table, comparing field 1, field 2. So if you want to use more than one field separated by space, you can use field 1, field 2. Suppose if you want to compare all the fields, then you have a syntax like compare all fields. You don't want to use all the fields to be listed over here. If you decided I want to delete the duplicates by comparing all the fields, use the keyword called comparing all fields. Okay. And yeah, that's it. I'll show you the sort, delete, and all the clear statements in the system. Okay, so sort, I want to sort. Okay, let me do one thing. Let me command this because I need more data. So I want all the data from MSEG. So I need to sort ITMSEG. So if you say sort internal table, it sort based on the key fields, whatever the default key fields, based on that it sorts. Or if you want to use, I want to sort by some field. Suppose I want to sort from MJHR. So I want to sort depends on the physical year. So I'm not worried about the material document number, only the physical year. So use sort like this. And if you want sort ITMSEG, ITMSEG by MJAHR. So by default it's ascending, or if you want to mention ascending, and I need the ZELIE item number by descending. Okay, let's see how it's sorting. Keep a breakpoint and execute it. So sort internal table, here you won't find any difference because by default all the three are key fields. So by default it's sorted by material number and the physical year. So if I press F5, you didn't find any difference here. Now I have another sort statement. Now I have to ascending this but descending my item number. Let's see. Press F5. Yep. So it got some changes. I think you were able to see some changes happen in the material document level. Let's see a little more in detail. So go to the service tool and click the table display in ALV. So it's very easy to just have a look on the how the data is getting triggered or how the data is formed. So go to table and here you can see 2019. Let me have a filter. So it's 2019 as sorted in descending order. Okay, so 2019 4 is coming first, 2019 3 is coming next, and then 2 and then 1. Okay, so this is the way you can use the sort statement in a different format. And finally, let me have one more. This for text. Okay, so clear ITMSEG. So you know what is clear? It clears that all the data, and I need one work area MSEG based on the internal table. So in that you can use like line of. Um, because here we used most of the declaration on the flow, so that is the reason I didn't have any structure to declare it. So this is another way. I want a work area, but it should refer the body of an internal table. So then use a syntax called like line of. You use type table of or type structure name, but this is a little different. It shows like line of. What happens is it creates a work area by referring this body of an internal table. Okay, so now MSEG MBLNR is like A123 and like MSEG. Okay, let me go with append MSEG to IT MSEG. That's good. Okay, so now I'm going to say A 124 and this is A125. This is small letter A126. Okay, so now I'm going to do sort MSEG. Let's see how it behaves. So this clear statement delete all the data from the internal table, body of an internal table. Let me have a breakpoint over there. Execute, and F6. So how many records? 727. If I use clear, it gets 0. Okay. And manually, I'm appending the values to the ITMSEG. So F8. Now I have 4 records. So A 1 2 3, 1 2 4, 1 2 5, 1 2 6. So I'm expecting if I sort, it should come the same way. A 1 2 3, 1 2 5, 1 2 6. Now I'm going to press F5. Oops. Okay, 1 second. By MBLNR. So this is actually missing. F8. Okay. F8. So here it is. So go to MSEG. I have 4 records. If I press F5, it actually mixed. So it takes the capital upper cases first and sort it, then lower cases, then sort it. It happens. Generally, it happens in the sorting statement. If you go with the character based values and it has a lower and uppercase values. Okay. So to avoid it, I'm going to use a additional keyword called as text. So now keep a breakpoint here, execute it. Execute, multiple breakpoints here. Now ITMSEG, just get into it and press F5. So there is no change. It keeps A123 as it is, 124, 125 and 126 because I mention as text. So that is one of the additional thing it's available in sorting as text. Okay. So the next is refresh. So refresh and clear also do the same thing. Refresh ITMSEG. Okay, so let me comment this first. And delete we have seen already in I think previous videos, I hope, where you can say MJHER, sorry, is greater than 2018. So these are the two difference of refresh and delete. So refresh also do the same whatever clear does, and the delete you can use the where condition. So just play around this, and if you have any questions, let me know on this. I'm happy to help you. And another one difference is what's happening here. Okay, suppose you have a internal table like this, and the whole internal table. Okay, like I can say whole internal table, type table of, what is the name, structure, MSEG with header line. So if this is the scenario, your clear should be very careful. Like if you mention IT whole internal table, what happens is it clears the header line. It has header and body. Okay, it's a whole internal table, you have header and body. So by default, clear will delete the information from the header, not from the body. Okay, so if you want to mention it should be body, then you have to mention the brackets. Okay, but here it doesn't have any problem because it is the body of an internal table. It doesn't have header line. So you don't want to mention this bracket. So if you feel this has a inbuilt header line, then you have to make sure this bracket, it clears the body of an internal table. Otherwise, by default, it clears the information from the header line only. Okay, so hope this might be useful for you. Please just work on it. Let me know if you have any doubts. Thank you so much for your time. Bye.